Move into our afternoon media availability with Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 29 Budweiser Chevrolet, a former winner here at Talladega. Kevin, talk a little bit about, you were here a couple weeks ago. You helped them paint Dega pink, and your sponsor has a neat partnership going on through the month of October. So talk a little bit about that, and then coming back to Talladega.
Yeah, we did. We came up here a few weeks ago and painted the wall pink at the start-finish line there with a bunch of breast cancer survivors. So obviously this is a big month to get the word out for breast cancer awareness, and our sponsor Ream will be running our pink car at Martinsville, and I'm sure everybody saw the scarves with the Young Survivors Coalition to help support the awareness as well. So it's been a great month. Obviously it's a cause that we all want to support to help prevent it.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up for questioning. Anybody? Okay, we'll go to Brand there in the back.
Brand Strickland, Instant Start. This race moves 2 weeks later into the schedule next year. With there being less time to perhaps make up a bad start that could potentially happen at Talladega, is that more nerve-wracking on the drivers, or do you just kind of assume it is what it is?
I think the later you put this race, the more nerve-wracking it is, just for the fact that the closer you get to the end, especially if you're in the championship hunt there, it would definitely become more stressful the further it gets put back. So, this place is just one of those places where you have a lot of things that are out of your control. For me, I really enjoy the style of racing and the thinking and the strategy and the things you try to do to put yourself in position to win. So it's just those races where sometimes you wind up on the wrong side of things, and you go through spells where you don't finish races, and then you go through spells where you can miss anything, and it's just you gotta have luck on your side to make it all happen.
All right, let's move to Mark and then Tom.
Kevin, Mark Allman, NASCAR.com. Clint was in here earlier today and talked a little bit about how this is probably the place where you practice least. He talked about really just going out and doing almost like a leak check just to make sure everything's hooked up and just put a couple of laps on. Can you compare and contrast what you guys are trying to do during the couple of practices? Is that really what it's mostly about now, just trying to stay out of trouble?
It really is, and the thing about it is there's so much time put into these cars. I would say these cars, to build right, take probably at least twice, if not 3 times the amount of work to build than a normal car, just because you spend so much time on the details, because it's so hard to find the speed in the cars, and if you skip 10 things to get it done a little faster, you're gonna pay for it when you get here. So it's just you don't want to go out and tear the bumpers off your car, and everything on the car has been pushed, pulled, filed on, maxed out for the templates, in every single area, and you have to, try to preserve that until the race starts. So, you definitely won't spend as much time, most likely, on your backup car that you would on your primary car, because there's just, there really is only 4 races, and there's only so much time, and you have to prioritize things. So you can control that you can help control that by not getting your backup car out of the trailer, by not practicing. So there's really no reason to practice. We've most all done this a fair amount, and you want to make sure that you don't have any problems and no vibrations and things like that, and that's really all you need to do.
All right, Tom.
Kevin, Tom Jensen, Speed.com. You've always been good at plate tracks. RCR's always made it a point to be especially good at plate tracks. This has been in some ways a difficult year for you. Do you look at this race and this track as maybe an equalizer?
Well, I mean, obviously the year hasn't gone how it's needed to go. I mean, it's been one of those years where it's just been, as an organization, haven't done a very good job of having cars that are fast enough to come to the racetrack and compete like we want to compete. So, we've definitely not been where we needed to be, but we've got ourselves into the chase, and got some decent finishes, and you have to you have to have something change momentum-wise to get where we need to be and where we want to be over. I mean, it needs to start this week, and we haven't been able to do that all year. And every time you think you have something going right, it kind of seems to you have something else go wrong. So you just keep battling through it, and it's really not. You can blame it on luck, but it's really not luck's fault. We haven't had the cars that are fast enough to run on the racetrack and compete like we need to, and you just got to keep at it.
All right, let's go to Claire and then George.
Claire Beeline, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Is it possible at Talladega that there was a time, and you can throw tandem racing in or just pack racing, that drivers kind of knew what they were going to do? Like everybody would go a certain direction, some would drop back. There was sort of a pace to it, and then all heck would break loose. Could it be thrown off? Could anyone change the pace of the race by, say, a Brad Keselowski who believes he should be up front and wants to be aggressive as opposed to everyone dropping back? I mean, could someone looking at it differently push everyone else to do something different, I guess is what I'm trying to say?
Well, that's how tandem racing started. It just took the first guy to be brave enough to just hold the pedal down all the way through the corners to keep pushing on the guy in front of him. So that's really how the tandem racing started. And the thing that triggered all that stuff was repaving the racetracks. I mean, they're so smooth, and the reason that we couldn't do that before is the tracks were rough. The bumpers didn't line up as good, but if the tracks were this smooth, I believe it would have happened years ago. So you can change it to a certain extent, but it is what it is, really. And for us, we're kind of in a box where we have to battle the heating issues of the car. I don't think anybody really likes to mandate how the race is dictated with the heating of the engine and cooling of the engine. Basically have a box that you're in with a $100,000 piece that is dictating the rules. So it's for us it's not as good as some of the Fords and some of the things. So you have to manage your engine throughout the first 3/4 of the race, and a lot of times that means it's you don't want to get up in the pack, and it's not because we don't want to race. It's because that our engines won't run cool enough to stay up in the pack. So it's like the restrictor plates. It used to be the ongoing dilemma of why do we run restrictor plates, and so now it's why do we restrict it with something that's so valuable and so hard to so easy to screw up and take that chance. But I don't see anybody else knocking on the door with a better idea, so it's kind of what we have right now, and that definitely has made the racing back to the pack racing and the things that everybody wanted to accomplish. And I think as a group, everybody wanted to accomplish that. There's just no other way to make it better right now.
But if somebody moves to the front, while others are, if somebody changes the pace, not about tandem racing, then will it change other people's plans if one or two decide they want?
This is kind of like a road race. You go in and you have your plan and you make it happen. And whether it's right or wrong, it's kind of like the race itself. It's a gamble.
All right, we'll go move to George.
Yeah, Kevin, George Diaz, Orlando Sentinel, right in front here. What are your thoughts if I don't know, obviously they're not thinking about tweaking it, but of establishing some sort of knockout format within the chase moving forward at some point?
I think I think the chase has added a lot to it. I think I just don't think it's baseball or football. I think this is a whole different atmosphere, and there's a point system involved. In all the other sports, there's not a point system involved, and there's really if you go out and win the last 5 races, you can make up a lot of points. So if you're eliminated through that process, I think it's you could eliminate some drama in itself. So there's a million different ways to argue that. I think it was just as good without the chase. I think there was one bad year there. So that's an ongoing debate. I like the chase. I think it's added to it. But you've had some great points battles without it too, and we got 2 in the other series without a chase. So in the end, I mean, if you want it to be something that you can make up, then it's probably not the right place to be, because you can't make this stuff up. It just happens.
Good.
Hey, Kevin, Alex Goody, ESPN. You were mentioning just a second ago about how the strategy and everything has evolved here, two-car draft, whatever. When you show up on Sunday, do you come in with you and your RCR teammates having a strategy in terms of front, back, where you want to be, or is it something that you just kind of have to see how the race evolves and figure it out on the track?
Yeah, a lot of times you definitely evolve with the race. I haven't talked to the other two teams, but I know from our standpoint, we kind of know where we stand on what we need to do to preserve the motor, to make sure that we get to a certain point of the race and then, do what you want to do the whole race, the last quarter of it. So that's the strategy that the 29 team will take, and not because we want to. That's just the hand that's dealt towards us, and obviously the cool temperatures are gonna help everybody, but it's still just a problem that we have that's a little bit worse than some of the other makes.
All right. Any additional questions for Kevin? Okay, go to Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. You've had one crew chief change this season. Have you guys already discussed what you want to do for 2013, or are you and Gil going to stay the course?
As far as I know, that that situation is all settled for next year. So I hadn't heard any different. So as far as I'm concerned, the team is set and going forward, and we have a lot bigger issues to work on than crew chiefs. You can throw crew chiefs at it all day long, but we need to work on things in house. I don't have enough time.
All right. Any additional questions for Kevin? Okay. Come up front here, Mike.
Mike Muller, .net. Following up on that, your competition director, is there going to be a new competition director? Is that where the start you talk about the system? Is that where it starts up there? You lost Scott Miller, I guess, last year, which was a good solid piece, and you plug somebody else in there. Is that the key piece right now?
Yeah, I think that's definitely definitely would be the key piece to start at, and I think Richard would have a lot more answers on these things than I would, and I know he's been working hard to fix a lot of things. A lot of it comes with that piece falling into place and structure. When you don't have that guy in there, it didn't pan out the way that we all thought it would pan out and mesh together and really have things run like they needed to. So it just kind of became a little bit more disrupted than I think everybody had anticipated, and now we got Richard and those guys are working hard on putting back structure and pieces and places and trying to get everything back to where it needs to be. So it's a big machine. I mean, when you get just from the small team that we had with the trucks in the Nationwide, when something goes sideways, it definitely takes a while to get it back to where it needs to be, and sometimes it's hard to find the problem, and when you're looking for people of that magnitude, and there's not a lot of them in the garage. So I think it's just something to where it's just the wheel is really big, and sometimes when you get the top of that wheel to the bottom, it's hard to get it back going again. So he's definitely working hard to make all that happen.
All right. Thank you, Kevin, for your
Yep.
time today. Good luck this
Thank you.
weekend.